Create system inventory, a step-by-step user input. In this lesson, we are actually going to create a script that will ask from a user for its input for any type of form or record that we will have to create in Linux. Now, if you are running, let's say your Apache server, your web server, then you probably would have to give some kind of form to the user so they would come in and type in, let's say, even a DNS record or even a system inventory in our case. You'll put in a host name, you put in an IP address, you put in a description or any other information that's a kind of form you're given, right? And then you click on save and that record is saved. That's how we usually see it online. Whenever we go online and whenever we type in information, that is saved somewhere. Well, most likely in bigger companies, it is saved in a database. But now, since we are creating our own little database, own little inventory, we will keep track of all the systems that we build. So there has to be a way. So we could have that script together and we could expose that script on our web server so user can use it as a form and put that information in. So anything that you want to do that could be done later, but now, for this lesson, we will learn that the first script that we'll create is that script that will add a record. So it will ask you, do you want to add a record? And so please provide host name. Second question will ask you, please provide IP address of the system. The third one is please provide the description of the system. Once all that information is provided, that information is saved into a file. Since it's a Linux machine, it will be saved in a regular text file. If you are using Windows, the most of people create this Excel sheet to keep track of all their equipment, do all type of asset management. Second type of script we'll cover is about deleting a record. So this script will ask pretty much the same things as the first script, but in this case, it will ask to delete the record. And the third script that we will cover, it's about combining both of the above scripts of to add a record and to delete a record. So we will use a case statement in which it will ask, hi user, what do you want to do? Do you want to add a record or do you want to delete a record? User picks A of to add a record or B to delete a record, depending on their choices. Then it will take them to either the first script or the second script. So this is what we are actually going to learn. So let me get into real quickly my Linux machine. Okay, I have it open. I am logged in as myself, and I am in my home directory and PS directory, which is the professional scripts directory that I created. Now, the first thing before I start writing a script, I need to create an empty file where all the input will be stored um, once actually provided by the user. So I'm going to create touch database. I'm going to call it database. Let's verify it's there. Yep, the last one is the database. Okay, let's clear the screen. Now, the first thing I want to do is to add a record. So let's create a new script called add record. And you know what we have to do here. We have to define the bash, the comments, and the comment could be the author, the date, description, one of my favorite. This script will add system inventory to database file. Modified. Let's leave the same date. Okay. All our formalities are done. Standard is followed. Now let's get into asking question from the user. What do we want to ask the first question? And when you ask the first question, you have to throw that question on the screen. And to display that question on the screen, you have to use which command? Echo. Yes, echo. Please enter host name because we are going to create an inventory of our system. Whenever we build a new system, you could add your system inventory into this database file. Please enter your host name, question mark, and then what do we do with that? Once we throw that question on the screen to the user will enter the host name. Once the host name is entered on the screen, then we want to capture that and put that into a variable, right? And to put that answer into a variable, we have to use the command read. Read. Um, you could use any variable name that you like, but I'll pick host name, just host, because host name itself is a command, and I don't want to confuse you with the actual command. So I'm just going to leave read host. Echo. The second echo I'm adding is because to put in an empty line on the screen so it will look neat. All right. Now what do we want it to do? First thing first, before I add a record into my database file, I want to check the host name the user has entered does not previously exist in the database file. If it does, I am going to error out that. So to error that out, let's do grep minus q, q as in for silent, and dollar host is our variable. From where are we grepping this? We have to define the absolute path and the absolute path file, which is home IFSol PS database. Remember, this is the file we created before we started working on the script. Okay, so this is going to actually grep from this grep the output of the host from this file. Okay, perfect. Now, next thing is simple if then. If the output, which is, what is that? The return code. Yes. If the output is successful, which is equal 0. So if it does find it, then echo error host name, which is the host that you entered, already exist. And simply echo out another line just to make it neater and exit the script. And phi for the if that we opened up. That's pretty much it for host name. Now we will do the same thing for second question. So first we'll ask the second question, which is echo. Please enter IP address. Read that IP, put in an echo as an empty line, and then we'll do the same thing. Grep minus q as in silent for $IP, which is the variable from where? From home IFSol PS and the database file. If the output, which is dollar question mark, is equal to 0, which is the return status as successful, then error IP, which is the variable, already exist. Then simply echo. Again, it's a line. Exit here 2. If the IP exists, just don't do anything. And then pretty much end the if with fee. Nice. Okay, so now we have asked two questions and we wanted to verify or validate these two answers against our database file if that answer provided by the user already exists or not. Perfect. Now the third question I wanted to ask the user is, let me hit enter key so this way it will be easier to see on the screen. So echo, please enter description. And we want to read the description and put in one more echo. And now just echo out that host, which we have the host that we asked on the first question right here, host with the IP with the description. I'm just going to copy the description so this way I don't make a mistake in the spelling. And to redirect sign to our database file. I could use one, but then every time the script runs, it's going to overwrite it and it would delete all the records that were added previously. So it's going to add, and then I could put at the end. No, before I do that, I will just put right here echo the provided record has been added. Perfect, right? And just put one more echo just for it to look good. Let's save it. Okay, now assign the executable permissions. Let's run it. Add record. Perfect. Please enter host name. I'll put in Red Hat 1. Please enter IP address 192.168.1. I'll start with 2. Please enter the description. This is Red Hat version 6. The provided record has been added. Perfect. Okay, so now when we go and do cat our database file, you will see that record being added there. You see? Now what we could do is to make it look a little neat and clean and organized. We could just VI our database file, and right here we could put the name, which is the host name, IP, and description. It has no effect on our script. It's just that I am putting it in, so it will be easier to read. Okay, the record is added. Now let me try to run the same script with the same record. So then we'll see it will complain that this record already exists. So let's clear the screen. Add record. Please enter host name. Red Hat 1. Boom. Error. Host name Red Hat already exists. Perfect. It is doing its job. Please enter host name Red Hat 2. It doesn't exist, right? So now let's please enter the IP address 192.168.1.2. Add record line 23 error, command not found. Okay, we have an issue in the script, guys. So let's look at it while it is actually validating the IP, whether it exists or not. It is complaining that something is not right in our script. And what is not right? The line in line 23, it says error, command not found. Why? Because first of all, error itself is there is not a command. We should have an echo in front of it. We probably don't have that echo. So let's go look at line 23. Let's vi add record and just put colon 23 will take us straight to that line. Ah, yes. You see, what I did is I put it in if the return status is 0, which is successful, then it should have then here, and then echo. This should be echo. We don't want that then error. See, simple fix. Also, make sure whenever you run and you get an error message back, read it, see what it says. Okay, let's try again now. Add record. Please enter hostname, Red Hat 2. Please enter IP address, 192.168.1.2 this time. See, error IP address already exists. Okay, now we know our check about hostname and IP address works perfectly. Let's add a command in my add record, and that command I wanted to do is every time it runs, it should clear the screen first. So this way you don't see anything that you're already working on. It should bring up a new screen. Okay, so let's run it and you will see what I'm talking about. So when you run add and hit enter, you see it came up with a newer screen and it actually pushed all the stuff that you had on the screen, pushed it up. So it looks better, it looks professional. Please enter hostname, Red Hat 2. Okay, please enter IP address 192.168.1.3. Please enter description, Red Hat version 7. Perfect, the provided record has been added. This is just the information that we have at the end. Okay, so this is what we wanted to do to create or add a record. Now we need to create another script that will, instead of adding it, it will delete that record. So before we go ahead and try our delete record, let's add another record so we could actually have quite a few records to play with. So please enter hostname, so Red Hat 3, IP address 192.168.1.4, Red Hat test machine. Added. Now, if I do cat database, you'll see I should have 3 records. Yes, I do. All right, so now clear the screen, and now I want you to copy, add record to delete record. Now we have copied VI the delete record, and you could just leave everything up and delete everything right here. So we could start a new script and change the description. Of course, this will delete system inventory, the system from inventory database. Okay, perfect. Now what do we want to do? First, always ask the question. We cannot add any record if we don't ask a question. Add please enter host name or IP address. And now why am I asking either host name or IP address? The reason I'm asking is because either the user enters the IP address or the host name. We should give that option right in front. So the next command would basically grep for that input and delete that record. It's just that simple. I don't have to ask, please enter the IP address, please enter the host name, and then it will go into either enter it from the host name or grep it from the IP. It's a bit cumbersome. So we'll just ask, just put an IP or host name and I'll do the job. Okay. And then what we wanted to do with their output, we wanted to read it. Read host or host IP, whatever that variable name that you want to specify. Give it an echo for the empty line. Now, grep minus q, again quiet, host IP from my database file. Okay. If that returns 0 equal 0 if the exit status is 0, then echo. Now, we have found the IP or the host name provided by the user. And now before we go ahead and delete it, we want to make sure the IP or the hostname provided by the user actually exists in that database file. We're not just going to go into the file and start deleting it what we don't have anything. So we first need to validate if it exists. And to make that validation, we have to grep that provided name from our file. And if I get the result, which is right here, if the result is successful, then you could go ahead and delete it. And to delete a record and update it, you have to use a command sed. Sed is a very powerful command, one of my favorite commands that could do a lot of things, a lot of wonders in a file modification. So sed minus I, single quote, slash host IP, single quote, single quote around the variable, delete, single quote from home IFSol, PS, database. Okay, so don't worry, let me explain it to you. It's what it's doing is it's going into this file and it's trying to find host IP, which is provided by the username right here. And once it finds it, it deletes it. So you see that slash and slash. What I'm saying is whenever you find this this provided variable and slash d, replace it. Replace it with what? With d. And what d is, it's to delete that line. If you wanted to put in, let's say if I put in right here is host IP with old, just like that, and then I will put an S here, then it will, what it will do is actually replace that name provided with the name old. But we don't want to replace it, we want to delete that record. So instead, take out the substitution, which is S, and take out the word old and put D, the actual D, to delete it. So this is what it's doing. And then echo the host IP, which is the variable, has been deleted. Nice. Okay, so now we are good. We found the provided host name or IP, and we checked, we validated it from the database, and we deleted it. What if it does not find from this file? The user says, hey, go ahead and delete Red Hat 5. Hey, I don't have a Red Hat 5. If that return status is not 0, then do what? Then we'll say else echo record, which is the host IP, which is a variable, does not exist. Simple as that. And we close our if with fee. That's it. Hopefully you understand. It's very simply written and done. And now I'll go ahead and try to run that. Delete record. Hit enter. Please enter hostname or IP address. Now I'm going to do the same thing as I did in my earlier script to clear the screen. So I'm just going to do Control C and VI the script again, and I'll just put in clear at this top. So again, it will look professional. Let's run it. Delete record. Okay, please enter hostname or IP address. I'm going to put in Red Hat 36 just to check. just to play with it, see if it actually finds it or not. Record Red Hat 36 does not exist. Perfect. This is what I want my script to do, and it is doing its job perfectly. Now let's delete a record, actual record. We remember we have a record, a Red Hat 1. Let's try that. Red Hat 1. Red Hat 1 has been deleted. Nice. But did it actually delete it? How can we verify it? We could actually do cat our database file, right? It actually goes into this file database and it deletes it from this database, right? So let's verify it. Yes, the Red Hat 1, it's gone. Perfect. Okay, so I have add a record, I have delete a record. Now I am going to create a third script right here, which will combine both of these scripts and ask the option from the user to what option they want to pick. Do they want to add a record or do they want to delete a record? So I will go here is what I will do is I'll copy one of the script add record and I'll rename is inventory management. Nice. Okay, so now inventory management. Let's come down here. Description. This script will ask to add or delete a record from database file. Okay, the rest is gone. Okay. Clear? Yes, I want to clear. Right below clear, just go ahead and delete everything. So we could start from fresh. Okay. First thing first. Echo, clear line. Another echo. Please select one of the following options. And those options are echo, just a line, echo, comma, not comma, quote, single quote A, equal, add a record, single quote close. Second, what if we wanted to give the option for the second one? D, because it's delete a record, right? You could pick B too, but it's better to pick D, delete a record, and echo. Okay, so far what the script is going to ask is please select one of the following options. And the options are A is to delete or add a record and D is to delete a record. So the user has to either enter A or D. So now at this point, whatever the choices that are made by the user, I will read those choices and I will put it in a variable and we'll call that variable choice. It's just a variable. It's not actual choice, some kind of command. So you could even put read I if you want to. That would be a variable where the answer of the user will go inside of that variable. So I'll put pick choice. Now once I read the choice, I will say case. Case is the statement, and I will do $choice in all my choices, whichever the choice that is picked, put it in a case statement. And once the case statement is being put in, then what to do? So for A, do this. Home, I of Sol, PS, add record. Right? This is a script that will actually add a record. Colon, semicolon, semicolon. This is how the case statement works. D, home, I of Sol, PS, delete record. Semicolon, semicolon. Perfect. Anything else? If user enters anything else beside A or D, then just say echo invalid choice. Bye. And we will end our case statement with ESAC. Why I picked an empty line here? Nothing, no reason. You could put it here as well, but I just wanted to make my script look good. Okay, so I hopefully you understand what I just did here. So basically from here till here is just what it is throwing on the screen. And then whatever the option is picked by the user, it will lock in into this variable choice. And then it's going to read those choices in, and it's going to run based on those choices. If the choice is A, right here, if the choice is A, run this command. If the choice is D, run this command. If the choice is anything but A and D, then says, hey, invalid choice, bye, and then close the statement. Just that simple. Save our script. Run our script. Inventory management. Enter. Please select one of the following options. A, to add a record. D, to delete a record. Let's try adding a record first. A. Hit enter. Okay, see, it took us to another script, and that script is to add a record. Now we'll add a record. Red Hat 5. IP address 192.168.1.6. Description Red Hat second, whatever that is. The provided record has been added. Awesome. Now let's do the same thing for delete, inventory management. Please select one of the following options. Now this time select D. Hit enter. It took us to the second script. Please enter hostname or IP address. Now I'm going to pick 192.168.1.6. The address I just entered. Hit enter. That IP address has been deleted. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now the last choice. If I just accidentally hit B, and B is not one of the choices, right, guys? Enter. Invalid choice by. Perfect. See how easy it becomes to put that in a real structural form way to add inventory. Now, adding an inventory is just one of the example that I picked. I have worked many times in the past where I would have to create some kind of a file or keep track of some inventory regardless of host name or IP or anything else. So you could actually use this script and provide that to your users so they could add it instead of VIing the file and adding the record, because most of the people are not comfortable with VI the file. So try that and try it with different options. You could also add 4 scripts or 5 different scripts and put all those scripts together into one main script.